Hello, I'm Mal, and welcome back to the Wasteland 2 Early Access Beta. I'm recording this on April 23rd of 2014, and this is Early Beta Build 39080. So I've been thinking the last couple of days, since the beta came out, the new version, been thinking about how do I want to approach this particular series, and I thought, well, I'll just do an update video and maybe show a few of the changes and then kind of speak to what I know is in the game in terms of new or different content. And then I thought, well, I could do that, but I kind of want to see the stuff in detail myself. And if you don't, that's okay. But for those of you that do, I thought, well, I might as well make that available. So even though I've played through it a couple different times now, I think this is either my fourth or will be my fifth playthrough of the beta. I don't mind so much because I really like the game. If you can't tell, I thoroughly enjoy Wasteland 2. So this is what we're going to do. In this Let's Play, I will probably cut out certain things that I normally would show you. Like, as an example, let's say I'm traveling and it's a bunch of random encounters. If they're not interesting random encounters, then I don't think I really need to show you that. If something significant happens, I can always update you. As far as the story goes, like as an example here, you start off and you're talking to General Vargas, the guy here in the cowboy hat. And they're burying Ace, a fellow ranger. So this is your sort of what starts you off in Wasteland 2 as sort of the initial quest, right? Find out what happened to Ace. Find Ace's killer. Now, I'm not going to go through all of the dialogue stuff with every NPC because that's available in two other series. So you can go back to Series 1 or Series 2, and I'll put a link somewhere here in the description for those if you want to go back and look at those. And those really, I kind of go through all of the dialogue and, really sort of in depth. This, I'll speak to things, but I'm not going to go through every single little detail of dialogue with these guys. Second thing. I'm going to try to explore as many of the changes as possible. I will put a link below to all of the patch notes from inXile. But in particular, there are things that I want to check out. That includes the new trade screen, the fact that, according to the notes, there's 25% more XP required per level, so it'll be interesting to see how the challenge is, since you're not going to level up as quickly. They adjusted gear weight and carry weight, so now strength is significantly more important than it was. They did a balance pass on weapons as well as weapon drop sets. And then here's something interesting I found in the combat notes. 1 to 2 action points may be carried over to the next combat round. Now, I don't know what dictates whether or not you get 1 action point or 2 action points carried over. If you have 2 action points left over, does that mean that they automatically get carried over, or is there some kind of other statistic that triggers that is it predicated on something else? Not sure. So I definitely want to test that. Now, here's something else that I could not get confirmation on. I went and looked on inXile's site, I looked on the patch notes, and I looked on Steam. I asked around. But there was supposed to be, I thought, in this patch, changes to leadership skill and charisma. But I couldn't find anything to substantiate that. So this time out, I don't know that I'm really going to invest in leadership skill that much, because quite frankly, the NPCs do whatever the hell they want anyway, right? So we'll just have to see what happens. All right, so let's jump into it. Let's see. Okay. Okay, now he's telling us to go investigate the radio tower. Okay.
When you get back to this, call. Once you prove the voice on those
yes.
trying to locate a faint radio.
Okay.
Good luck out there, recruits.
All right, now let's take a look here at our inventory. Okay, let's swap weapons and reload. Okay, hold on. Let's bring up the character profile. Okay, so let's take a look at the team here real quick, and then we will go investigate some of the changes. Alright, so Mal Sinclair, that's going to be me this time out. I just went with pistol for combat, which, I'll tell you this, and I don't know if it continues because they did do a weapons balance pass. But in the last playthrough, later on in the playthrough, as you notice, I started using pistols as secondary weapons for certain characters like my sniper. And I gotta tell you, pistols are pretty darn good. I mean, you know, you gotta deal with the range, but other than that, you know, hey, they're pretty good. Let's take a look here. We have radiation suits for everyone. Okay, and this is one of the other big changes. Actually, I'll come back to that. Let's finish. We'll look at the characters, then we'll talk about things like radiation suits. All right, so here's my guy. Here's my stats, as you can see here, and my skill choices. Went with hard-ass 2, smart-ass 1, handguns 2, blunt weapons 1. So I started with this midnight special handgun and a pipe. What you start with in terms of combat skills does predicate, or what weapons you start with is predicated upon what skills that you have. Okay, let's take a look here. Sniper rifle. Oh, that's cool. Got a pistol and the sniper rifle. It's nice. They said that they significantly increased ammo. I don't know if this is a significant increase from the last build. I mean, I guess that's a decent amount of pistol ammo. Okay. Well, okay. Let's swap here. Swap here. Okay, let's go back. Okay, so Sarah here has sniper rifles of 4, handguns of 1. Sniper rifles, now with this weapon pass, with armor penetration being a bigger deal, might be more useful. In the previous betas, what's happened is that sniper rifles are very useful early on. And then the power curve, it certainly loses its gusto around mid-game. Now, there are more powerful sniper rifles available, at least that's my understanding. I've only ever been able to find like one sniper rifle upgrade, and it still wasn't that significant. I think with a crit, I was doing like 24 damage, which as you get towards the mid to end game of the beta is not all that much. Okay, so just bear that in mind. I'm gonna continue to have a sniper in my group, primarily for testing purposes with the armor penetration. But in truth, I almost went without a sniper because I just don't think they're that strong, especially with the way you have to do the retributes. Because for them to be of any value, I believe they really need 10 action points. And here's my thought process. Okay, if I take a 7 AP shot with a sniper rifle, and then let's say someone rushes up on you, or you need to finish off a target, then being able to swap to a pistol and then take a 3 AP shot, you know, a single shot with a pistol, can make all the difference in the world. So you really need the 10 action points, but it's a lot harder to get 10 AP than it was before. I think they made some other changes, because when I was doing the stats, it seemed like it was, you know, damn near impossible. I mean, look, it's like 2 strength, 1 charisma, 1 luck. Not that bright, right? 3 intelligence. Just so that I could get her the right combat initiative and the right action points, because I want her to be able to fire first as the sniper. So, I don't know, something else to consider when you're making your build. Okay, now we've got our rogue type here, Arlo. I went with... Now, this is more ammo. Okay, this is more ammo. And they changed this to 5.56, which would be the appropriate ammo type. So that's interesting. Previously, it was 7.62, if I'm not mistaken. Okay. That is quite a bit of 5.56 ammo, so that's nice. Okay, and then let's take a look at his skills. Safe cracking 2, assault rifles 2, lockpicking 2. Go down here to Robert, and he's, again, I'm starting him off as a melee combatant, just like I did last time. I really like having kind of the beefier medical person. As you can see here, he's got 32 con, principally because his attributes, right? He's got a strength of 6. He's also got an intelligence of 9, which is the minimum number that you should have if you want to have 5 survival points per level. So the survival points are what you spend on the skills. I've covered that in previous Let's Plays, but I just want to make sure people remember. So this is a big deal. So if you have a character that you know is going to require a lot of skills, particularly the expensive ones later on like Surgeon, Field Medic, and what have you, then you need to have a high end score. On Arlo over here, I went with 6 intelligence so that I could get 4 survival points per level, and that's because, you know, he's going to have to continue to increase his safe cracking and lockpicking, and then he needs, you know, a main combat skill and a secondary combat skill. So, you know, the skill points get chewed up pretty quick. And now since you're going to be leveling slower, because of the 25% XP increase per level, that becomes an even bigger deal. Alright, so that's the team. Let's grab this shovel here. I guess it doesn't really matter who takes it. I'm going to need to pick up perception on one of these characters at some point. Let's add that to the bar. Okay. Let's go up here. Okay, we'll talk to this guy who's not going to let us in. But I might want a little bit. Bite back. Interested? Yeah. Okay, promise. Okay, Mississippi Mule. Oh, so you can get that from Hardass now, huh? Okay, so previously, if I'm not mistaken, you could get this Mississippi Mule by using Kiss Ass skill with the guard, but now it looks like you can use different skills. In this case, I used Hardass, and since it is, let's see, oh, okay, well, it's shotguns. Previously, it was classified, if memory serves me, it was classified as a pistol, but it fired shotgun rounds, which made it kind of cool. So it's not all that useful for us, so we'll probably sell it. Let's go up here and talk to the vendor. Now this should be something that, you know, that'll be a significant change, right? Because we're looking for the new trade screen. So let's go ahead and go through this. Acquaintance, Ranger Citadel, General Vargas. Okay, trade. Oh, okay. So we should be able to trade off of anyone's screen. Okay, so let's try that. Let's test this. Okay, so let's grab this. And let's sell this. Yeah, sell it all. Got anything else to sell? Suture kits, heals 50% con during recovery. Now we better hold on to that. Okay, this is a really huge improvement. Oh, and look at the vendor scrap, 2200. Nice. They also have this listed much better. It was listed before like in stacks of ammo. It wasn't nearly as clear. That weapon's new. What weapon is that? Kind of looks like a British IW rifle. Not sure. It's nice though. Nice weapon. Goat hide armor. Requires 5 strength. Oh, that's cool. Leather jacket. So they put all kinds of like new stuff in. That's great. Pipe wrench. Okay. Oh, sawed-off shotgun. Ooh, that's cool. Almost makes me want to have a shotgun guy. Steel plate armor. Requires strength 6. Okay. Minus 1.3 meters per AP combat speed. Okay. Hmm. Okay, so 7.62 ammo is pricey. 5.56 is more reasonable. Okay, so we should probably buy some 38 caliber rounds and some 5.56. Yeah. Okay, we obviously cannot afford that. How many rounds can we buy? How about 30? Can we buy 30? Yeah, just 30. Wow. Okay, now who else has... Okay, she does. Can I split here? No, I can't. Okay. But, oh, and there's a sell all junk button, so anything you flag as junk can be sold. Oh, that's super cool. Okay, good job, devs. Good job. Not that you were waiting for my approval, but good job nonetheless. Alright, let's see. Let's split some ammo here. The slider bar is revised as well. It's cleaner. I like that. Okay, let's stack this. So you have 30 rounds. You've got 36 rounds. Actually, you know what? You don't need that many, because that's not your main. It is my character's main. Okay. Harlow's good. You've got a pipe. Okay, now these guys are just... That can over there for me? I think there's some water in it. You know, I've never done this. I'm going to go ahead and pick it up, but something tells me that this is not good. Yeah, that's kind of what I thought. Hey now, you settle down there, Aberforth. Make me kill you. I don't want to have to do that. Good on the mission. Yeah, we are. Okay. So this is pointless. Let's go over here. We're going to go back around here and talk to Angela. Make sure she's still recruitable. Can't imagine they changed that. Yeah. Okay. Jeez. So, as I'm talking here to Angela Death, D-E-T-H, haha. Anyway, as I'm talking to her, a lot of these characters, Vargas, Angela Death, Ace, Razor, others, were in the first Wasteland game. So, she actually had kind of a long-standing relationship with Ace. But because of that, she wants to go with the group. Because she's pissed off that, obviously, that Ace was killed. She wants to seek revenge, and so she's all about coming on board. Alright, let's take a look if they made changes to her, because she was, like, major OP. Yep, she's still level 14. Something to note here is that it's going to seem like it's impossible for her to level, and that's not the case. So she can level, but only once she exceeds this XP amount, which I know sounds like, okay, yeah, Mal, Captain Obvious, but it wasn't quite that obvious to quite a few people, including me initially. So as you're playing through, she's not going to level up, and then all of a sudden you kind of catch up to her, and then obviously she does. But her stats are preset. So let's take a look here. 6 assault rifles, 5 brute force, 4 blunt weapons, 3 kiss ass. She's got 2 weaponsmithing and 2 outdoorsmen. Okay. And she has a reasonable amount of starting ammo. She's got Ace's wrench as her offhand. Okay. Excellent. Let's see here. Let's dig this up. Scorched snuff box, okay. I guess that's something we can sell. Let's run around here real quick and make sure there's something right there. Make sure we didn't miss anything, right? Broken sunglasses. Okay. I want to take a closer look, too, at the character profiles, which I will do that in just a second. Is there anything back here that I needed to dig up? Don't see anything. That doesn't mean that there isn't something. Okay, let's go talk to this guy. See if they change this at all, or if he's just continuing to complain about the graffiti. Oh, gotta clean this up. Okay, so nothing with him. Alright, let's take a look at that. I want to see here real quick on the character profile. So they got rid of the clothing stuff in this. There used to be the... I don't know if you guys have watched the previous playthroughs or not, but they had like... Basically, it looked like a generic icon in your inventory, and then it was labeled for a piece of clothing, so it looks like they've taken that out. They've also changed the way this looks, which is nice. Okay, so let's get back to this talking about the rad suits thing. So now rad suits are supposed to function like your canteens do. So the better your rad suits affect everyone. It's kind of what I'm led to believe, but it shows as a single item, so I'm not entirely sure. Again, this will just have to be something else that we test. All right, so I'm gonna go out into the wastes here, and I will make a cut in the video, and then I'm specifically gonna go and try to find some kind of a fight so that we can test combat. All right, so I'll be back with you in just, for you, it'll be just a second. Hey folks, I wanted to cut back in here to the video. Obviously we're not in combat, but they have made some changes. They're subtle, but they're nice, and I just wanted to make sure that I noted them. One is that movement on this area map is significantly easier. Sometimes you had to finagle with it to get it to go, but you simply go where you click where you want to go by right-clicking, and it shows you how much water you're going to use to go there, which I think is kind of nice. And then it makes this kind of interesting, like marching noise when they go as well. So let me show you that. Pretty cool, I think. Like I said, just it's a subtle change, but nice. Let's see if the from the over map works. Yeah, it does. Plotted a course. Smoother going over the mountains and stuff. That's nice. Alright, I'll come back to you once we've got some kind of a fight, folks. See you then. Alright, so here we go. Outdoorsman 3 to evade these raiders, so they actually might eat us for breakfast. My guess is that they will. So we'll see. We're going to give this a try. Again, this is to experiment. Normally I don't reload saves or what have you, but again, this is just the initial sort of changes video. So if I end up dying, so be it. I did save right before I left the Ranger Citadel. Alright, so here we go. We're jumping in. Oh, that's not good. Okay, so who do we have here? Is that Angela? Yeah. Alright. Under pressure. Nearby enemies are interfering with aiming. Minus 20%. Now, I already knew that, but that's cool that they show this little status effect now. Nice. So we're already seeing some changes. Now we have the option here to do a burst with 6 AP, which I think we're going to do. So we're going to go here, which gives us cover against... No, these guys are melee, but this guy is a threat. What is he carrying? Is it some kind of submachine gun? Looks like it. Okay. But this guy, 50 hit points. Rail Thief as a first fight. Wow. Okay, so we're going to try bursting this guy. 100%, so we're going to hit. So I'm not worried about friendly fire. Okay, he's bleeding. We only did... Wow, we did like next to no damage to this guy. Whew, okay. Well, in turn. 61% chance, huh? Now we can move, can't we? Yeah, we sure can. The question is, where do we want to move? We could come down here. I think I'd still have a decent shot on the guy. If not, I'll go after this other. It's always best to concentrate fire, however. But, you know, sometimes you don't get the option, right? Let's go for it. Okay, 12. 69 to hit. Okay, let's switch to burst. And I think what we'll do is we'll move back one, and we will go crouch. Plus 20% chance to evade, plus 10% chance to hit. Nice, it actually gives you a little deal there. Okay, great. Alright, let's shoot this guy. Now, this doesn't make much sense to me, though, in terms of 20% chance to evade. Now, if it's a ranged attack, absolutely agree. If, however, that's a flat 20% evade bonus against anything, including a melee attacker, that doesn't make any sense to me. If you're crouched and some dude comes over with a sword and wants to chop your head off, you're probably going to have a little bit more success, right? If you're just crouching there? Not like you have much chance to move around. I don't know, just a thought. So I kind of hope that you take more damage if you're crouched and a melee guy comes to chop your face. Okay, now the AI is still doing some stupid things, which in this case is good, 'cause it means we might have a chance. Okay, let's see. Like, as an example, this guy runs all the way over here to fire. Like, why did he do that? Doesn't make much sense. Alright, let's see if we can finish this guy. Oh, come on, Stavard. Ugh. Okay, in turn. We need some cover of some kind. We can go here. 5 AP, and we can still take a shot. I think that's what we'll do. Or we could go for this, take a guy out. Now, we're gonna move to 2 damage. Wow. When they said they did a weapon pass, they weren't kidding. Because, see, these guys have 3 armor. Do they all have 3 armor? Whew, okay. 20 points of damage, huh? Yeah, probably not going to make it through this one. Wow. Alright. Let's try to finish this guy, actually. Okay, so we managed to get rid of one guy. And actually, hold on. I can switch to single. Yeah, let's do that. No, alright. Okay, where do I want to move her? Back here? Yep. And if I stay here, I think I'm gonna get totally screwed up. 9 AP to get here. Any other cover? Not really. Could go here. That's not bad. Let's do that. I don't know if she's going to survive, though. She has a lot of hit points, but still. Oh, and there goes the doctor. Oh, man. Whew. Okay, so combat is significantly more dangerous, so this going out to the Wastelands to find a random fight that's this tough, we definitely got to test it out. I'm not going to continue this combat because it's kind of pointless. So in the next episode, what I'll do is I will, leave from the Ranger Citadel and then do the traditional go to investigate the radio tower, which is sort of the first quest. Again, the purpose of this was to test, and I got exactly what I wanted out of it. These were more difficult opponents, and I wanted to see what the effect of armor and whatnot was going to have. And look at if you look at this fight, starting weapons against I would say this is sort of a mid-game for the beta. This is sort of a mid-game level set of opponents. So obviously that puts us at a disadvantage, but moreover, the changes to the weapons are pretty clear to me. If you go back and look at the last Let's Plays, I think you will agree that they are like significantly weaker than they were before, and armor seems to be much more important. Now, that means that it should be a better deal for us too later on when we have armor. So we got to bear that in mind. But in any case, we've taken a look at the new trade system. We've talked about, XP increase of 25% more per level. The increased starting ammo and instance ammo is supposed to be increased as well. Adjusted the gear weight and carry weight. There doesn't appear to be any leadership or charisma changes in this patch. Obviously, there's been a balance pass on the weapons. We have seen an example of the AP being carried over to the next round. So that was kind of neat to see. And generally speaking, it looks like they've made the game tougher, which I'm okay with. So in any case, I hope you liked it. If you did, please consider giving it a thumbs up. As always, I look forward to your comments and feedback. Thank you so much for watching, folks. I'm Mal, and I will see you later.